Hey folks, Mike Dawkins from World Cast Anglers here, coming at you with your Jackson Hole fly fishing forecast for the weekend of May 24th and 25th. We've got Memorial Day weekend coming up here, and normally in the greater Jackson Hole and Teton Valley area, it's cold, it's snowy, it's crummy. It's like winter's last assault on us. But this weekend, everyone is in luck. It's going to be full of a lot of sunshine and a lot of warm days, not much wind. It's actually going to be really glorious outside. So I hope everybody has some awesome plans of getting on the water with family and friends, or going camping for the first time this sort of summer season, and enjoying being outside with everybody. This is the last weekend of our dollar fly sale. We've got $1 dries, nymphs, and foam flies. We've got 50% off streamers. That runs through the end of the day on Memorial Day. So come in, stock up, get ready for the summer season ahead, before everything gets crazy in your life and everything, summer starts coming down the pipe. We're ready to get you all stocked up and ready to go for your angling pursuits coming up here in the next couple months. After a cold and wet and sort of dreary start to the week, things are looking really nice. Going into our weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we've got 65, 67, and 70. A lot of sunshine, not much wind. And looking into our 10-day forecast, some of those days are even reaching into the mid 70s and even into the lower 80s. So it looks like summer is definitely taking a firmer grasp on our weather patterns here for the next 10 or 14 days. When it starts getting warmer later in the week, we're going to start to see some better chances of some afternoon thunderstorms. So we're not in the clear yet. Definitely pack your rain jacket and your warm layers as you get out on the water, because you can see a little bit of everything this time of year. Jackson Lake right now is 90% of capacity. Palisades Reservoir is 74% of capacity. Our snow water equivalency for the upper Snake River basin is 92%, and in the Henry's Fork it's 74%. A lot of that snow above 9,000 feet is still holding on, and even added to earlier this week when it was really cold, crummy, and dreary, as I was saying. The Henry's Fork, we've got 484 CFS coming out of the Box Canyon, 1,520 CFS there on the lower river. We've got salmon flies sort of dispersed out through the lower river, making their ways up. Our best foam fishing we've been hearing about has been in the lower Mesa area, maybe the Warm River area. But, historically, it's like the salmon flies on the Henry's Fork just can't win this time of year. We needed this weather that we're getting ready to have last week when they decided to come out, and they sort of got squashed. They're eating the rubber leg pretty good. They're eating the beadhead and some of those, bullet quills and Spanish quills and blue-wing olive imitations and p-tails really well. But the foam bite has definitely been a lot of work. Get on the water early, get on the water late, do something different than everyone else in that 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You could journey up to the Box and maybe even Riverside and some of those areas and try to get ahead of the hatch or sort of right in it. As we start to see this warm, dry weather, settle in this next week, those salmon fly conditions and stonefly conditions are going to be prime. So look to get on the water if you're looking to fish, the big bugs during this next, coming week. I'd probably avoid a lot of the Memorial Day traffic too. South Fork of the Snake, 8,900 CFS on coming out of Palisades Dam. 9,540 CFS there on the lower river. We're seeing really great water clarity on the South Fork of the Snake right now. I think that is due to those colder water temperatures the colder daytime temperatures and snow we had earlier this week. It's sort of stalled out runoff a bit. As we come into this warmer string of weather, I would expect some higher turbidity and decreased clarity coming to the South Fork of the Snake, the Teton, and the Snake there in Jackson. But get it while the getting's good. Water temperatures are still pretty cold. We're seeing a lot of, blue-wing olives. We're seeing a lot of caddis, but it's still mostly a subsurface game with your rubber legs, your San Juan worms, your blobs, your p-tails, your zebra midges. Things of that nature have been really productive. Streamer fishing has been, good. I can't really say it's been great, but I would suspect that to gain in consistency as we get some warmer water temperatures. I would also expect water levels to rise coming out of Palisades Dam here. We've seen demand decrease for irrigation and consumptive water purposes from all the precip that we've had, but I would expect that to come back up here in the next 5 to 10 days. Teton in the Valley, 330 CFS, 1,180 CFS on the lower river around St. Anthony. Similarly, as I was just describing, water clarity on the Teton's pretty darn good now. And we've even had, some good fishing windows and opportunities on the river up here in the valley. Blue wing olives, caddis, midges are going to be your main hatches that you're going to see up here in the valley. Small dry dropper stuff, small streamers fished around structure, deeper water holding areas, cut banks, habitat like that is going to be the key to success on the Teton up here in the valley. On the lower river, we're still seeing some really cold water, especially with Bitch Creek and Badger Creek flowing in, and I would suspect we'll start to see some diminished clarity coming from those tributaries too as things warm up. The Snake and Jackson, 2,500 CFS coming out of Jackson Lake Dam, 7,700 CFS there on the lower river before the salt and the grays. Snake's still pretty darn muddy. We might have seen, some clarity increase with the cooler weather, but it's full on runoff mode. You've always got the Jackson Lake Dam to Pacific Creek stretch, throwing streamers in the discharge lines with an intermediate or, a type 3 sink tip, Crelex, Clouser minnow, minnow imitations can be really productive looking for some lake trout or some other trout milling around in those discharge pools. You'll probably see caddis, blue wing olives, and some midges in that area from Jackson Lake Dam to Pacific Creek, but that's going to be about it. There's a lot of sluey water, so you may have some dry fly fishing opportunities, sporadically, and if you can time them right with some pods of fish, it can be a lot of fun, but you're pretty much limited to that area, here during runoff season. We've got Yellowstone National Park that opens up the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. So we've got the Firehole that's around 319 CFS, and we've got the Madison around 533 CFS. I would be ready with a lot of blue wing olives, maybe even some PMDs on the Firehole. I'd be ready with, some lights, poly leaders, some small streamers like buggers, damselfly nymphs, leeches, and any of your favorite soft tackles to cover a lot of water with that down and across swinging style can be an ultra productive way to fish the Firehole early in the season, maybe when the bug hatches aren't really happening or a little bit more sporadic. The Madison, I would suspect the same, blue wing olives, caddis, maybe some salmon flies there in the Firehole Canyon or on the Madison, but it's still a bit early. But those flows and that clarity will be pretty darn good for the season opener. You've also got a lot of other opportunities in Yellowstone opening up to widen the berth of where you can get on the water coming up. Lewis Lake, the Lewis River, there's a bunch of stuff up there. So definitely check our fishing reports. We update them quite frequently this time of year. Stop in the shop. We've got guides out on the water and our shop staff out on the water every day, and we can give you the most up-to-date fishing conditions and fishing report needed. The fly shop is open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Sunday, so it's full-on summertime for us. Stop in, grab what you need, grab your fishing license and up-to-date fishing report as you head out on the water for this glorious Memorial Day weekend. We thank everybody for your support as we go into the summer season ahead. Thanks for tuning in and have a great weekend out there on the water.